Why is Plato called divine sometimes? Divine Plato. In Islamic tradition, for example, there is an interpretation which seems to interpret divine as meaning that Plato was sort of filled with the knowledge of the oneness of God and the love of God. That's why he's called divine. But that doesn't seem to be the origin or the Greek origin of the description divine in front of Plato's name. And for conceptual reason as well, it's very ambiguous what Plato's conception of God was and whether he was a monotheist or not. So in the early Greek tradition, at least one of the traditions, Plato is called divine because he is considered God himself or semi-God. Because according to this tradition, Plato was actually son of God, one of the gods, son of Apollo, which is a Greek god of reason and knowledge and light, etc., and the balance. That's what this tradition goes back to Plato's nephew, who succeeded him, Plato's nephew Speusippus, who succeeded him as his successor at his academy. And this tradition is common in the ancient world. Some of the humans were considered son of God, and probably Christians got their idea of son of God from these traditions as well. So obviously Plato was born to his mother, as Jesus was born to his mother, but Plato's real father wasn't his human father, but was God. So in a sense, somehow this god Apollo, I don't know whether he had sex with his mother or for whatever procedure he gave birth to Plato. So that's why he is called divine, meaning he is himself a god or son of God. So his nephew Speusippus, who succeeded him as the head of his philosophical school, held that Plato's real father was not Ariston. That's his name of his human father, but the god Apollo. A whole corresponding tradition grew up. Plato was born in on Apollo's birthday, so Apollo himself was born. So bees came and sat on his infant lips. His teacher Socrates dreamt of a swan, Apollo's bird, just before meeting Plato, thinking of Plato as semi-divine is alien to us. This is the author. This book is not so startling in a world in which great families claim to be descend from the gods. It makes a point that would be made later times by saying that Plato was a genius, somebody altogether out of the ordinary, which with talents that transcends the historical circumstances of his birth. And a similar tradition grew up at some point about Pythagoras. Now, this genius explanation is a modern spin on, but probably ancient. Actually, literally believe some people to be son of gods. But their conception of obviously gods was different. Gods were not totally different from humans. So they had a hierarchy. There were gods. There were gods, I think, and then there were these heroes and mythical heroes, and then there were humans. I mean, humans, I guess some of them were son of gods. I don't know heroes were son of gods or not. We should study Greek religion a bit more, I think. Anyway, that's what I want to say.